Chapter 4. You never take a chance. The next lesson began before either of them entered the training room. Vesta was in Gale's kitchen pretending to eat toast. She sat cross-legged on the counter in yesterday's red dress, one bare foot swinging idly against the cabinet doors while she tore pieces from a slice of bread she had not wanted 5 minutes ago and wanted even less now. A small flame danced over her knuckles, brightening and dimming with the mood she refused to name. Karlak stood at the stove in an apron that read, "Kiss the cook or fight me," flipping eggs with cheerful violence. "You know," Karlak said casually, "for someone who said she wasn't coming, you're dressed very punctual. I'm here for breakfast. At 7 in the morning." "I'm deeply committed to toast," Karlak snorted. Vesta glared at the bread as though it had betrayed her personally. The truth was intolerable. She had considered not coming. Repeatedly. In detail. With speeches. Then she had woken before dawn anyway. Now she was here, irritated by the hour, irritated by the house, irritated by the wizard upstairs, and, most of all, irritated by the humiliating fact that she wanted to see him. She wanted to see if he would still be insufferable. She suspected yes. That should not have been appealing. From the doorway, a smooth voice said, "Ah, the brave pupil returns." Astarion leaned against the frame in immaculate black, untouched by the hour in the way only vampires and the deeply vain could manage. He held a goblet already half full. "It is too early for you to be smirking," Vesta said. "My dear, it is never too early." He glanced at the flames circling her fingers. "Nervous?" "I'm bored." "Those are often sisters." She extinguished the flame with a snap. "I am not nervous." "Of course not. That explains why you've looked at the stairs 6 times. I have not. 7 now." Karlak barked a laugh loud enough to shake the pans. Vesta considered setting something on fire. Footsteps sounded overhead. Her spine straightened before she could stop it. "Damn him!" Gale entered the kitchen carrying a stack of books and wearing blue robes severe enough to file taxes. His hair was still newly trimmed, the sharper lines of it making him look more composed than any man had a right to be before sunrise. He stopped when he saw her on the counter. She lifted her chin. He looked away first, a petty and meaningless victory that filled her with absurd satisfaction. "Good morning," Karlak said brightly, sensing blood in the water. "Is it?" Gale asked. "Someone woke up delightful," said Astarion. Gale ignored him with the efficiency of long practice. "I trust," he said to Vesta, "you remember how doors function today." "I came through one 10 minutes ago." "A marked improvement." Karlak made a choking sound into the eggs. Vesta smiled without warmth. "And I trust," she said, "you've prepared another thrilling lecture on the dangers of breathing incorrectly." "I had considered beginning with your posture." "You can begin with my absence." "And yet," said Astarion, "here we all are." Gale set the books down carefully, too carefully. There were faint shadows beneath his eyes. He had not slept well either then. That knowledge pleased her more than it should have. "Shall we?" he asked. It was addressed to the room in general and her in particular. Vesta slid from the counter. "Lead on, ceiling man." His mouth twitched. So quickly she might have imagined it, but she had not. Gale had spent the better part of the night deciding he would be patient. This resolution survived nearly 3 minutes. The training room had been reset after yesterday's exercises. Chalk circles renewed, candles replaced, books returned to shelves. Order restored. Proof that some things, with sufficient effort, could be put back as they belonged. Unlike conversations. Unlike certain women. He stood beside the slate board, hands clasped behind his back. "Today," he said, "we will attempt discipline before catastrophe." Vesta wandered the perimeter of the room, examining everything except him. "You've decorated?" It is called preparation. It is called ominous. It is called why this house still has walls. She grinned despite herself. Dangerous woman. He should not notice when she smiled. He turned to the board. The lesson lasted perhaps 5 civil minutes. By the 6th, Gale was explaining arcane containment theory with increasing precision, and Vesta was circling the room like a cat denied access to a shelf. Magic is not merely instinct, it is language, structure, pattern. Every weave contains internal logic. Every surge has cause. Every outcome may be refined through discipline, repetition, and study. He wrote as he spoke, symbols forming in clean, elegant lines. Behind him, Vesta sighed loudly. Every answer has a measure, every breath a counted line, every joy delayed for later, every instinct redesigned. He continued writing. You begin by reducing variance. You turn wonder into homework. The chalk stopped. The room sharpened. You turn living into plans, she said, pacing now. You could map the stars precisely and still never touch them with your hands. For one dangerous heartbeat, Gale thought, she is right. He looked at the immaculate diagrams, at the measured candles, at his own chalk-dusted fingers. He had once wielded magic like a master and a lover both, hungry, brilliant, bold. Now he analysed every pulse like an elderly scholar cataloguing weather. He treated power like curriculum, wonder like archive. When had that happened? He knew. He simply hated that she had seen it. He set the chalk down. Structure, he said, drawing himself back together, is not fear. Restraint is not decay. Some fires are not meant to simply have their way. The orb rose in memory at once, the hunger beneath his ribs, the years of secrecy, the quiet arithmetic of destruction, the knowledge that losing control badly enough could erase streets full of strangers. Then the crown. Then Mistra. Then the lesson. Be careful, be smaller. Do not mistake brilliance for permission. There it is, Vesta said. Another warning, another rule to keep you safe. Tell me. He had meant to open the door a crack, to use truth as parable, to ask what she would do if power stopped being play and became catastrophe. She cut across him. When did caution become the only life you gave? He went still. Astarion lowered his goblet. Vesta, too heated now to notice, stepped closer. You speak as though every miracle requires permission. Every risk weighed, measured, approved. What kind of life is that? The kind, Gale said, voice cooling, that learns from consequence. Cowards hide behind the same. His head came up. You know nothing of experience. You know nothing but your name. Karlach told me what a great wizard you are, she snapped. All I see is a man who worships caution and expects everyone else to kneel with him. Inside him something shifted. Fun Gale, curious Gale, reckless Gale, bright, impossible Gale. The selves he had locked away beside the worst of his ambitions stirred like prisoners hearing daylight through stone. See, she sees it. She knows what you've done to us. The safer part of him recoiled. And look what chances did last time. Enough. The word came sharper than he intended. Not aimed solely at her, though she stood before him. It struck inward first. At the restless parts of himself, her accusations had stirred awake. The boy who once reached for wonder because it glittered. The man who had loved danger because it called itself greatness. The quieter selves buried beside them simply for sharing the same face. Vesta mistook the target and pressed harder. You never leap. You never run. You never lose control for fun. You never trust what can't be planned. Every line was a hammer. Inside, the caged voices screamed agreement. You never leap. You never run. You never take a chance. You never take a chance, Vesta accused. That was the blow that broke through. Chance. The word did not sound like romance in his mind. It sounded like sleepless nights with a bomb beneath his ribs. Like swallowing magic from dead things because survival demanded ugliness. Like calculating how many city blocks his failure might erase. Like kneeling before a goddess and surrendering the crown he had once believed he deserved. He had taken chances. Too many. The orb, the artifacts, the isolation, the fear of becoming a crater in the middle of a city because once he had mistaken ambition for destiny. Those memories did not rise. They fell. His answer when it came was barely sound. No. Vesta stopped. No? He looked at her then, and whatever she found made her stomach drop. You know nothing, he said, shaken now in a way he would despise himself for later, of the chances I have taken. Silence pulled inward around them. She had wanted to provoke him, she had not meant to wound. Gale. We are finished here, he said sharply. The formality of it hurt more than shouting would have. He turned away. Tomorrow, at dawn, he added. I didn't, Vesta tried to say. No. Cold now. Final. He left without another word. The door did not slam. That made it worse. For a long moment no one moved. Then Astarion spoke softly. And there it is. Karlak stared at the closed door, jaw tight. The sound a heart makes, she said quietly, when it closes. Vesta remained in the centre of Gale's practice circle, hands hanging uselessly at her sides. For the first time since meeting him, she understood that some damage arrived without fire at all. Vesta swallowed. What just happened? No one answered at once. Astarion still watched the closed door. You found a bruise and mistook it for a button. Karlak muttered a curse under her breath and set the spatula aside. Damn it! She scrubbed a hand over her face. I should have said something. That he once mistook ambition for appetite, Astarion asked lightly. A difficult topic over eggs. That caution didn't come from nowhere, Karlak said sharply. That he didn't wake up one day and decide to be afraid of living. Vesta went still. Karlak looked at her, anger already softening into sympathy. Someone needs to tell you what happened to Gale. Astarion raised his goblet slightly, preferably before the next lesson. I'll do it, Karlak said. Astarion didn't argue.
At last, the sparks have found dry timber.
Every answer has a measure, every breath a counted line, every joy delayed for later, every instinct redesigned.
You turn wonder into homework, you turn living into plans. You could map the stars precisely, yet never touch them with your hands. Structure is not fear, restraint is not decay. Some fires are not meant to simply have their way.
There it is, another warning, another rule to keep you safe.
Tell me,
when did caution become the only life you gave?
wisdom learns from consequence.
Cowards hide behind the same.
You know nothing of experience.
You know nothing but your name.
Enough.
Not nearly.
You never leap.
You never run. You never lose control for fun.
You never trust what can't be planned.
You never take a chance.
No.
No?
You know nothing of the chances I have taken. We are finished here.
Gale.
Tomorrow at dawn.
I didn't.
No. And there it is. And there it is.
The sound a heart makes when it closes.